Hello and welcome back to the Women Making Herstory series. I am your host today, Nancy Matthews, one of the founders of Women's Prosperity Network, and we're bringing you this series of 31 extraordinary visionary women in celebration of Women's History Month, and it really is herstory. So today I have the privilege of introducing you to my good friend, Melissa Binkley, who is actually traveling the world, making an impact, bringing so much goodness into the world through what she teaches and also through her own transformational story that she shares. So thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Nancy. I'm so excited to be here.
Me too. Very, very grateful, not just for you being here, but for what you're doing in people's lives. So let me share a little bit with our audience about your background. Melissa Binkley is the founder of the Intuitive Intelligence Academy, the world's leading school for spiritual development and trauma healing. She is a soul and business strategist, a #1 international best-selling author, international speaker, and spiritual thought leader. From being homeless in 2009 to an international organization by 2016, Melissa is on a mission to create conscious awareness and spirituality by teaching healers, coaches, doctors, and speakers to live their purpose, to tap into their intuitive intelligence, to create a global impact. In 2014, Melissa developed her own mode of spiritual transformational process called intuitive intelligence. She has shared the stage with Marianne Williamson and Dr. John DeMartini, a couple of my favorites, and is also a teacher for the Institute for Integrative Nutrition and on the advisory committee for the Women's Economic Forum. This woman is up to big things, and I'm so happy you're here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So let's start with homeless in 2009, which was probably right before you and I actually met each other, I think.
We met in 2013. Yeah. And so, homeless in 2009. I spent that year living in my car, in friends' houses. It was my big breakdown before my breakthrough. I had to leave behind everything from my previous lifestyle. At that time, I didn't know that, of course, But
right, and clearing in all the garbage, we're like, what?
Getting it all out, clearing it all out, and it was in that time frame. I met you in 2013, and I was led to Women's Prosperity Network because of the work from 2010 to 2013 that I was doing on myself, and I had gone to back to school to do some healing work for myself to try to do things, and that's how I ended up with you in 2013.
Yeah, and it's been awesome ever since.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit, if you would, about this journey of transformation that you've personally done, and then how you came up with this process for healing, this intuitive intelligence, and like, where does that all come from?
Yeah, so I think that everybody gets, when they're looking for healing, the first thing we start with is with our bodies, right? Like physically, like, oh, I want to lose weight, I want to get healthy, I want to do like everything in that kind of realm. And that's where I kind of started. Was I went to the Institute for Integrative Nutrition because I was just trying to heal my body. I had so many years of eating disorders and drugs and things that had destroyed me, that my body, hormones, everything was off. But as I started to heal my body, and I was doing this like health coaching work, I realized that I just didn't like myself. And I think that's where people come in as like, oh, it didn't matter how much weight I lost or how healthy I became or anything. There was this deeper core of, like, I don't like myself. And, when I was at IIN, Institute for Integrative Nutrition, I call it like the gateway drug. It started to lead me into like teachers like Deepak Chopra and, some of these spiritual leaders that are out there that I started like looking at, this deeper meaning behind like, what is this reality that I was? And that was when I dove into things like with Wayne Dyer and started like looking at this idea, because I had abandoned religion, because religion not the same as spirituality in my world anymore. I had abandoned it so many freaking years ago because I was like, God wouldn't let these things happen to me because I had so much trauma, and I had been raised in a really Christian family where my father had, studied to be a minister, but was doing awful things. And so that was a huge disconnect for me. So when I came back in later, and I started doing the studies, I said, oh, there's something here. And I was working with people, health coaching, and they were actually having instantaneous healings, like miraculous healings of like endometriosis or hypothyroidism. And I realized that when I was doing that and I started taking these other courses like transformational coaching method and started diving deep into spirituality, I started realizing that there was this energetic connection that was much deeper. And that was when, right around the time that I met you, was when I went back to school and started studying things like quantum physics and neuroscience and psychology and these ancient wisdom traditions that really honed in this idea behind the work that I was doing, and started to help me. Like when I had started having my conferences, you know, people would walk on stage and they would have a transformational experience, and their physiology and everything would change from that moment. And I ended up, what really happened was I ended up in 2016, I was going to walk away from everything. I had become so stressed out after my last conferences in 2015, and had gotten rid of my team and my staff because I had grown so fast in those 2 years that I was not doing well myself again. Mm-hmm. And so I was going to walk away from everything. And I almost lost the business. I had a really tough year. I made the less than 6 figures that year, which was when you're still paying people and stuff. It was really difficult.
I'm familiar.
Yeah.
And you know, so let's pause and then we'll get to the rest of that part of the story, because going from homeless, running this huge company, and then we, myself included, go through phases of getting totally absorbed in something, and then, oh wait, I stopped taking care of myself, or this isn't exactly what I planned. When I created my first business, a title company, real estate investment, I had so much financial success very quickly. And I looked around one day and I'm like, that's not what I meant to do when I started my own business. Oops. How do we do this so it feels in alignment and keeps us taking care of ourselves and feeling great about what we're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. And that was what came to me in 2016. By the end of that year, I said there was no way. I had stopped. I had spent the whole year pretty much on a spiritual journey. I had done a lot of travel. I had done some spiritual retreats, but I had stopped making money. I had purposely stopped making money because I didn't want to work 15 hours a day. And I didn't know that there was another way at that point, because I had been taught by all my coaches and my mentors and everybody I'd been working with this patriarchal A-type way of how I had to run a business that did not work with this idea behind what I was believing in the world. And so I was like, by the end of 2016, I said, okay, I have to restructure in some sort of way. There's something I'm not doing right. There's something, or I'm going to walk away. And when I was getting ready to just quit the business and go get a job, I started getting emails from people out of the blue, like, this is how the field works. They were like, if you're going to leave, if you're going to walk away, if you're going to do this, you need to teach this work to someone because it's changed so many lives already. And I was like, oh, that's it. And that was when I opened. Yeah. And that was when I opened the academy at the end of 2016 and created the process, intuitive intelligence, that I had been using and had never created as a process, just have been doing this stuff, and turned it into this thing that has now developed over the last couple of years. And I now work, honestly, I travel the world and I work 20 or 25 hours a week at the most. And I'm more successful than I was before. And I'm happy, and my clients are receiving even more results. And this, so I learned how to shift my systems and myself, using the work, using intuitive intelligence. Mm-hmm. And it's been really impactful but that's how I created intuitive intelligence itself. It was a process I had been using for years, since about 2014 when I'd been doing this stuff, but I put it into something that was understandable, easy, that I could use, that I could teach to other people. And now we're training people and teaching people, and I've, gone to all these countries and sharing it. So yeah.
What a testament to creating her story, your story, creating your life the way you want it. So I want to say to our viewers out there, if you are sitting in a place where it's just feeling so hard and it's feeling overwhelming, it doesn't have to be that way. Right? And we've got to trust our own internal guidance, and with Melissa's process perhaps to help guide into the intuition, because we're not meant to be toiling in this life. We're meant to be experiencing, enjoying, and making a difference, and being happy with other people, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. No.
Okay.
It's not about doing, right? We're not human
Yeah.
doings, we're human beings. And we hear this a lot, but people really don't understand what that means. To step in and live as if and be a certain way before it actually appears in your world, to live in that quantum, in that field, and live as if it already exists. Like, I spoke myself into international speaker in 2013. I was saying I was a speaker. I was doing like little 1-2 minute talks, but I was saying I'm going to be an international speaker, and I am a speaker right now, and I will be international by 2016, and I lived into that. And so many people don't understand that we can speak our way into literally, if by being a certain way, into the life and the creation that we want. But it's gotten jumbled around with all this, the secret and all these different things. People don't actually understand what we're talking about. And you got to heal your crap. Like, if you don't heal the stuff from your past, which the intuitive intelligence is that 2 pieces, heal your trauma, so that you can actually manifest and create. But you can't do one without the other, because depending on what consciousness level you're at or vibrational level you're at, you will create at whatever level you're at. So you've got to get up to a different level.
So well said. So well said. Wow. So let's talk for a couple of minutes. I'm asking everybody, a woman in history who influenced you, made an impact in your life.
Yeah, so the 2 that I want to talk about, because they're not going to probably be anybody that anybody else knows on here, is Candace Pert and Elizabeth Blackwell. And they are scientists, but they are women scientists, and first off, it's a man's world. And they're scientists that have broken the bounds and the understanding of the Newtonian physics and the world of matter as we see it, and talk about things on a completely different level, which is in the world that I live in, and like how the science and spirituality combination. Like, Candace Pert wrote a book called, and she's no longer with us. She wrote a book called The Molecules of Emotion, and Deepak Chopra talks about how this was a life transforming book, because she actually gives the scientific backing behind why emotions get stuck in our body and where physical pain comes from, and how you can actually use intuitive intelligence to heal physical illnesses or mental illnesses, because it's on a scientific level, you're literally shifting things. So these 2 women were groundbreaking and they were shunned by the men in the scientific community. They were, their studies and stuff were like put away into the side. You couldn't get to them, and they're pioneers in the industry and into where we're going in the world. And so for me, they're 2 of my biggest women in history,
I'm getting so many great recommendations for books to read, women to look up. So I'm loving this. There's actually there's a book I read called The Physics of God.
Yes, I'm reading it right now. Yes.
But what's interesting is I purchased the book not only because of my own interest in the subject, but my daughter is a physicist, and she's very science and not very spiritual. So I wanted to be able to bridge that gap and have a conversation with her. So I'm going to get books as well. And my daughter's a woman scientist too, so she'll get it.
Awesome. Very cool.
Awesome. All right. So what was the second name? Janice Bird and?
Candace Pert and Elizabeth Blackwell.
Perfect. Okay. Yes. Very good. Very good. Thank you. So as you are now traveling the world, speaking out on behalf of women, teaching intuitive intelligence to them, I know you also work a lot in helping people who are going through trauma or have experienced trauma. Can you speak to that just a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the trainings that we teach help people with all sorts of different types of trauma: sexual trauma, PTSD, wartime trauma, emotional trauma, whatever that kind of thing is. And so we teach these processes to help people to literally clear it at a cellular level instead of just subconscious. A lot of things out there right now these days are NLP, subconscious training, things like that, which are great, but mindset is bullshit. Mindset's not everything, right? Like, you've got to go beyond those things and heal at a core and cellular level to really be able to change. And so one of the things that I'm doing as a give back is I work with sex trafficking organizations and survivors and to help them in that. And that for me is something that is really important to me. I've been to India and Nepal and done work in that. I've done work with several organizations here in the US, and I'm headed to Uganda and Kenya later this year to work with the genital mutilation and teach 350 pastors this work. So understanding and healing trauma. And trauma, I think we need to explain, is it could be you got your hair pulled when you were 5 years old, and you made a story out of that, and it created an experience, and that hair pulling ended up creating migraines in your life, 15, 20 years down the road, and you don't know where your migraines are coming from. Yeah. That kind of stuff, right? So trauma can be something very simple. It's not, there is no, the brain and the body do not have degrees. It's like, oh, my trauma was really bad, but yours wasn't. No, when the body and brain process, it doesn't matter how we cognitively or consciously think this was really bad, like my rape was really bad, or this was, no, it's not any, there's no degrees or levels. And so everybody, like 70% of all adults have had trauma. And I think that actually the numbers are higher than that. And so we've got to look at those and say, what's really holding you back from your life? Like, you want to create, you want to manifest, but if you haven't healed some of these things that are holding you there, and this is for people, like, have you tried everything, right? Like, I've tried it all, I've done it all, and I can't quite get to that next level. Where's your glass ceiling? Mm-hmm. So I love to be able to help people with that, and then the give back, and we work with some of these organizations that has been really transformational for me.
So good. Thank you for all you're doing in the world, the contribution in my life, the contribution to the series. And I know you've got a way for people to get in touch with you, and way for them to start this journey with you. So tell them a little bit about that, and then you can click on the link below, everybody.
Yeah, great. So this thing that I'm offering you guys is a video and a report, and it's how to shift from goal setting to manifesting. It's in 5 minutes a day. So really all it takes is 5 minutes to completely shift your life. And so I give you the experiential techniques and teach you a process in this video that teaches you how to literally create and manifest anything in your life. We have people that do instant miracles where I've done these large events, and people will instantly, within 48 hours, create the things that they're looking for. So it's super fun. It's really cool. And it'll get you out of that, especially if you're into business or things like that, get you out of that, like, kind of A-type personality, and have more flow and shift in your life and things like that. And then you can also check out the Academy at theintuitiveintelligenceacademy.com.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you, my friends, for being with us. Thank you for the gift. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy your travels and all the impact. To all our viewers, be sure you go ahead and click on the link below to get this very generous gift from Melissa. And then also click that other button if you haven't already done so. Join this movement of women making herstory. Women's Prosperity Network is about shining a light on you and your story so that together we all make a positive impact in the world. And I know you've got that story, so go ahead, click on the link and join the movement. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, my friend. Have a beautiful, beautiful day.
Thank you.
All right, bye.